Good afternoon, and welcome to Don and Frida Greer's 50th wedding anniversary party. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Dennis Greer, their firstborn. And we're going to start off this little video by taking a trip back through the years and viewing some of the snapshots that have been taken of them over the years. To begin with, we have a couple shots taken before they were married. I believe they were still in their mid to late teens at this time. Now we have some shots taken on April 11th, 1942, their wedding day, in Ava, Missouri, of all places. We don't have a snapshot of Ava from 1942, but we do have a current picture of the Ava post office. Our next shot is downtown Hammond, waiting for the train for my dad to go off to war. The next shot is about a week before I was born. My dad was on leave, but I wouldn't be obliging, and he had to go back to the service before I was born. This picture was taken, as I said, about a week before I was born. Now we have a couple Betty Grable bathing beauty shots that were taken about a month after I was born in August of 1943. Unbelievable, isn't it? About the same time, or shortly thereafter, here we have a couple of shots of my dad in his army togs, one at Fort Lewis and the other with a friend of his in North Africa. Finally, the war is over, and he's back home. It's 1945. It's now 1946, and here's a picture of my mother on the porch. And then another picture on Easter of 1946 when they're getting ready to go off to church. This is a picture of 6636 California Avenue in Hessville. It's the first house that they bought, and this picture was taken, shortly before they bought it. As a matter of fact, about the time they bought it, the basement was added to it. It's now late 1952, and this is the house that was to become the permanent Casa del Greer. We have a shot taken in the early 50s, and we fade to a present-day shot taken in the 90s. Here are the four of us in 1952. Dad, Mom, myself, and my brother Ken. This next shot was taken in 1955, shortly after my sister Sue was born, and now there are five of us. Here's a few shots of some of the vehicles that my dad has owned. This is a 1947 Plymouth that was taken as it was parked out in front of the cabin on Chapman Lake. The next shot is the 1950 Roadmaster. Belonged to the president of the Steel Workers Local Union, number 2483. By the way, that's him leaning against the door of the car. Here we have Dad at work, welding away at Stan Ray. It's now Easter of 1957. My brother, my sister, and I, and my mother in the backyard of the house on Chestnut Avenue. It's now 1958. After the addition of my brother Rick, we are now six. Don, Frida, Dennis, Kenneth, Susan, and Rick or Donald. We now move on to 1964, and this was a picture taken for, I believe, the church annual. We now have a picture of Mom at work with a handsome fellow with a cowboy hat standing next to her. This was taken at Carson Perry Scott's in the early 70s. Back to a snapshot of one of Dad's vehicles. This is the infamous LTD. Now, the next two pictures are, of course, blackmail shots. The four kids in the early 70s at my place in Ottawa, Illinois. We now move on to disco days. This was taken in the late 70s. It's a picture of my brothers, myself, and my sister. My mother wanted this picture for Christmas. Of course, we didn't tell her, but we went to a place called Old Chicago and had an old-time picture taken, which we presented to her for her birthday in November, and this is what she thought she was getting. However, she did get this real honest-to-God picture for Christmas. We now move on to a snapshot of the infamous T-Bird. This is when it was green. It later became white and moved on to into the sunset. Well, the guano business never did really take off. We now have a snapshot of the grandkids, and this was taken mid-1980s at my brother Ken's house. You're looking at Dwayne, Dawn, Debbie, Brian, and Jonathan. Our next snapshot is at Snoo's house for Christmas of 1990. This is my brothers, my sister, and I believe that's the head of a grandchild poking into the bottom of the picture. Again, 1990 with the anniversary couple and the grandkids at the basement at Sue's house, 1990 Christmas. The next picture is again the anniversary couple with the kids, 1990 Christmas. The next shot is the summer of 1991, summer brunch on the Spirit of Chicago. And finally, here's a picture of as we know them today, Don and Frida Greer. Congratulations, Mom and Dad, happy 50th anniversary. And now we'll have a montage of family films taken over the years by my dad, along with some music. Thank you.